What's up, everybody? It's your boy Blue, coming to you with you guys with the first episode of Breaking Chainz Academy interviews that we'll have to give you information about different jobs, different businesses, different ideas to reach out to parents, at-risk youth, and young adults. I also have a special guest here, Noah Passmore, who is a National Guard of the U.S. Army, right?
Yes, sir.
And he actually runs his own podcast, which is called What Aboutism. You want to expand a little bit about what you do there?
Yeah, I can. So I started What Aboutism probably 2 weeks ago, just because I've been having these kind of conversations with my boys, like in college and even after college at work, just general topics on sports, politics, movies, TV shows, laws, like especially everything's going on right now with like social justice, things like that. So I try to be the middleman and get people with different opinions. Like I've talked to police officers, I've talked to convicts, I've talked to people with different spectrums,
Exactly.
just so we can all get the information out there and people can come together and like listen to other people.
Exactly. That's what it's about. Bringing everybody to the table, like, you know, to have these conversations, even if they're uncomfortable or comfortable. Because like with us, you know, we've been cool since college at Fresno State, and that's how we met each other. So we're gonna cool, but we might have differences of opinion, you know, but you never know. Everybody is unique, you know what I mean? So today we're gonna get into, because you are in the military, we're gonna get into the benefits of the military, what it's about, how you sign up, and stuff like that. So the first question is, how did you end up joining the military?
So how did I end up joining the military? This was senior year, 2011. Fresno State, was a senior. I was like pushing. I was trying to graduate. I was taking like maybe six, 7 classes. I was doing sports, but I didn't do it that year because I was trying to focus on graduating. And then I knew a couple of people that graduated prior, and they moved back home. They were like looking for work, or they're working like at Walmart and things like that. And then I was just like, I was planning out where I want to do after. I was an econ major.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone I knew that was an econ major wasn't working in economics. So I planned it out like, hey, when I graduate, I'm not going back home. Like I haven't lived at home since I was 17. So I was like, I'm gonna do something. So I looked at the benefits of the military, of course. I went to a recruiter, talked to him, because there's National Guard recruiters, there's active duty recruiters, and there's reserve recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
So the first place I went to was Coast Guard. They were close. So the next office was Army National Guard. So I went in, I said, okay, I don't know anything. You guys explain it.
You go to that office that's in like Clovis, right there by like where Little Caesars is, you know what I'm talking about?
I went off of Shaw.
Shaw, yeah.
Like kind of towards the 99, like way up there.
Oh, the other way, yeah. I know it's an office over there. Like
there's a bunch.
Yeah.
There's a bunch out there. That's the one I went to.
Okay.
Dude was just sitting there on his computer, little tank top and some board shorts. He's like, oh, come talk to me. What's your situation? I told him, I was like, hey, I'm in school, blah, blah, blah. He's like, you have student loans? I was like, yeah. He's like, oh, we offer student loan forgiveness. So I was like, okay, it's a pitch. He's like, how much are you earning? I was like, I'm making, I don't know. I was making like maybe 600 a month. He's like, all right, you come here with your 4-year degree, you're going to make this a month. I was like, okay. And he talked me up, and then that's how I signed up. I think I signed up within, I take the ASVAB. That's basically the mental test to see if you qualify. Then I took a fitness test to see if I was worth his time, because if you can't pass, basic push-ups, he's not going to sign you up.
Yeah.
Then I went and got all my medical stuff checked at MEPS. It's like a weekend trip. They take you up to Sacramento, do your shots, all that stuff, your vision. And then I went to basic in February 2012.
Were you afraid when you signed up? Because I feel like if I wouldn't signed up, like everything that I heard from the military or what you've seen, just the idea of it can be a scary thing, knowing like you could potentially be put in war or maybe die, you know what I mean? How did you feel when you took that step?
I was scared, yes. I was scared. No, I didn't get scared until basic. I was just trying to do something with my life like before then. Once I got to basic and then they're telling you all this stuff like this many people die or blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, dang, like, this is terrible recruiting. Like, why are you telling me this right now? But at the end of the day, it was really bad recruiting. But at the end of the day, like, I've had a blessed career. I can't knock the military for anything. And as for someone that's not in the military, their perception of the military is like totally different than what the military is. Like being in there's a lot of people like in the military that like me, that enjoy movies or playing video games, stuff like that. And I didn't know that. I thought everybody in the military was like 6'5", 250 pounds, just solid man. And I was like, oh, you guys are normal people. Okay. Like there's doctors, there's lawyers, there's pastors, there's like every kind of work is in the military.
Yeah.
Every type of people. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's cool. I was gonna ask you, you kind of went over how you started to sign up. What are different ways that you can go sign up for different military branches?
Yeah, your main way will be, it depends on your age group. If you're in high school, usually they have recruiters come to your school. Well, yeah. I know we did in my high school. Yeah. And they'll do like a push-up challenge or a pull-up challenge, something like that. If you're in college, they might have a recruiter at your college also. But if you're not, if you're just, if your school doesn't have that, or if you're not in school, you can just go to any recruiter and just ask them questions. Okay. You're not obligated to do anything, but hey, this is my life situation. What will the military offer?
What are there age limits you can or as long as you have physical and mental tests, you're good?
I believe don't quote me on this, but what I love about the military, everything is researchable. So everyone could Google what the age, what the weight, what the height, all that information is available. So I believe for the Army, it's 35. I'm not sure for the other branches. Yeah. You have to be at least.
Then you could become president right after
that. You could, yeah. You could. You really could. I think the minimum is 17 with adult consent, or like you have to be out of high school or something like that.
I remember one of my high school football teammates. He signed up. Oh my God, he signed up for the military, and I don't know if you know. I don't know. It's just I remember they was giving out awards at the end of the year, and he didn't want to go out to receive his award for some reason. It was so long ago. But it was like basically saying like, were you going to college or whatever?
Yeah.
He was going to the military and he was like scared to and he already signed off and stuff. But that was the experience. Like I remember that and I was just like, wow. And then I started to learn different benefits and stuff. I'm like, it's about perception. Everything's about perception and how you see it. And if you don't understand, that's why it's always good to have someone in your life that is a good mentor to you that'll lead you the right ways and kind of will get you to have a strong head to understand the things that you're putting your life into.
Exactly. You hit it right in the head. It's all about perception. Like everyone wants the benefits, but everyone doesn't want what it takes to get the benefits. Even if we're talking,
that's what anything.
Even if we're talking Patrick Mahomes, right? Everybody will want to be Patrick Mahomes. But the amount of work that Patrick Mahomes had to do to get to where he is, everyone doesn't want to do that.
Nobody want to put that in. Exactly.
They just want that $500 million contract, but they don't want to, study film or do this or do this or do this or do that to get that.
Yeah, and that's what this is what I want to do with our organization at Breaking Chainz is get kids to understand, get parents to understand that it's a process and you got to put in the work. We are the people to give you the resources and the tools. But anything else, you have to do the actual work. You have to invest in yourself and stuff like that. So we're going to put out information and stuff like this, and they're going to know how to get into the military and stuff like that. But they know they have to do the work. They can't just, slouch or anything.
You got to put in you got to put in the work, of course. With anything that you do.
Mm-hmm. So how long have you been in serving now?
This will be my 9th year in December. December will be my 9th year in the National Guard.
Cool. How do you feel like it changed you as a man?
How did it change me as a man? It gave me more, I guess, authority presence, I guess, because I've never been in a leadership role until I became a soldier, because it's kind of like a CEO job where, or it's kind of like, say you're working at McDonald's. If you're working at the fry cook or whatever, you don't have any leadership skills in your job. You just know how to, work the fries.
Right.
Once you become a supervisor, now you have people under you. And then once you become that supervisor, you have people under you. So I was 25 and I had like 12 soldiers under me. So that's pretty young to have, that type of responsibility. I was responsible for, making sure they have food, make sure they're paid right, all this stuff that usually you wouldn't get unless like you were a manager or you owned your own business. But, I'm doing that at 25. So it made me grow up faster and be responsible.
Yeah. And it gave you, would you say it like gave you confidence in yourself?
Yeah,
abilities?
definitely give you confidence. Definitely give you confidence. Because once you do it and once your soldiers or your workers and respect you, or they succeed from listening to you, then you're like, okay, so I know the process works.
Exactly. What would you say was what would you say is the hardest part, the toughest part to you that you have to, it doesn't, not to everybody else, but like you personally, was the toughest part when you were in the military?
The toughest part was probably basic. Toughest event was.
So what is basic? What's basic?
Basic training is when you leave your first kind of introduction, boot camp. Yeah. It's like 3 months. Well, the Army's 3 months, different branches about different. When I went, it was 11 weeks, I believe. And your first 2 weeks don't even count. It's just in processing. So I'm there for 2 weeks. I'm like, okay, 9 weeks left. It's easy. And they're like, no, you haven't even started yet. All we're doing is making sure your body is good to make it. So I leave and there it was cool. Like, if you got in trouble, the most they made you do was like 5 push-ups. All we did was go in the morning, get shots, come back. Like, it was a chill day.
Yeah.
Then I get to basic, and they're yelling at you, throwing stuff at you, cussing at you. You're out there in the cold. Like, my first day, we had to unload our bags back and forth from the bus to the it's called a drill pad, which is basically like a basketball court. We had to line them up alphabetically. We had to do that like 20 times.
Yeah. So what would you say is the reason why they try to build you, or like, what is the reason why they like cuss at you or yell at you and make you do things repetitively? What was the benefit out of that helped you?
You're not going to see it at first, but what I was told was the reason they yell at you is because they're trying to break you down.
Yeah.
Because everyone's coming from different walks of life. So, like, someone could have like a high class life, like their dad is whatever. Someone could be really, really poor and they never had support. Someone could have a good family and they're all good. But you have to get all these people of different lives, different races, different ethnicities, different genders, and you have to mold them together. So you break them all down. You're like, all you guys are trash. No one here has value. You treat them all worthless, right? And then you build them up. You build that value up. Also, because they tried to say like, hey, if you can't handle, me yelling at you, you're probably not going to be a good soldier. Because this is, in hindsight, this is probably going to be the easiest part of your career.
Yeah. Wow. So you said the toughest part for you was basically like the boot camp. And then so after you finish that, you feel like once you're done with that, are you like, is it like, like in a fraternity, when you go through the pledging process, after you're done and you crossed over, you're like welcome with open arms and you're a brother now. Is that like kind of how they treat you? Like, as far as like when you pass boot camp, you now a soldier,
More or less, yeah. Once you're in boot camp, you're just a recruit. You're nothing really. Until you graduate, then they'll like shake your hand and respect you. But until then, you're someone that they're trying to fail. Because if they can get you to fail, they're like, what I was told, my drill sergeant was like, I'd rather you fail here than you fail while we're overseas and I need you.
Yeah. I was going to ask you this because it came up in my mind as I was talking to you. You ever heard the story about Maceo Snipes?
Say it again?
You ever heard the story about Maceo Snipes, a veteran?
Not
a black veteran.
Yeah.
So basically, like, right now we're going through like election is coming up and stuff. And one of the biggest things that we know and throughout history is that, the black people were suppressed, or they're still being suppressed when it comes to voting. And basically like what happened with Maceo Snipes. It was back in, I want to say the 40s or something, 19.
Uh-huh.
Um, he basically was like he fought in World War II, and
Okay.
came back home, and in the area where he lived at, um, black people were able to vote, but it was voter intimidation. So they said basically like if you went out and vote, it's going to be trouble. So during that election, he went out and voted. He was the only black person to go vote in that area in that election, and then some white men uh, who were actual veterans themselves in World War II, but they were also KKK members. They approached him, went to his door, went to his house because they found out he had voted, and they shot him in the back. They shot him in the back, and he just came home, and he thinking like, I'm about to use my voice. I'll fought in the war for y'all. Like I'm about to try to like get my voice and try to get things right. It's the whole point of freedom, And they shot him in the back and basically left him for dead, but he didn't die at that moment. And his mom helped him walk to the hospital, and the hospital was like 3 miles away. And once they got to the hospital was a Jim Crow hospital. So
Oh God.
black people, they didn't help black people first. So he is dying with a bullet, with bullet wounds in him, and then he finally gets through to the hospital, like to be seen, like 6 hours later. And imagine going to the hospital and you got shot and they don't see you for 6 hours.
And you're a vet.
Yeah, and you're a vet on top of that. That's crazy.
Like I'm not just some drug dealer or whatever. Like I'm serving you guys.
But so once they seen him, he needed a blood transfusion, right?
Yeah.
And what they told him was they don't have any black blood. So he ended up dying 2 days later. That's crazy.
Yeah.
We don't have any black blood. But yeah, I was saying that to say, like during these times or since you've been serving, like have you experienced any type of like racism while on duty? Or have you like, how do you feel like that goes? Because I know everybody comes from different backgrounds and stuff, but.
Yeah. In the military, I haven't experienced
direct
full-on racism, but I've experienced ignorance, a lot of ignorance. Like, oh, why are they protesting? They're millionaires.
Yeah.
Like, they get paid to play basketball or football or whatever. Like, I'm not saying they're racist, but they just don't understand.
Or like, what they call it, implicit biases.
Implicit, but it would be like the way I explained it. I said, you're not going to understand their causes or my cause if I'm explaining it to you. If you're not listening, will be the same way. I don't understand the trouble of someone in a wheelchair. Like I couldn't say like, oh, it's just you just go around the corner, go the long way. It's fine. It's the same thing. And the person in the wheelchair would be like, no, because it takes me this long, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I can't go through certain doors, et cetera, et cetera. Like, if I'm not willing to listen to the person in the wheelchair, then I'm just negating their issues. So it'll be the same issues. Like if we're talking about race in the military, someone of a different race saying they don't understand, but not understanding is fine. Me telling you I don't understand is fine, but you saying that, oh, that's not a real issue, even though you've never experienced it, that's when it becomes a problem.
Yeah, or just saying that and not being able to come to the table and talk about it and try to understand it a little bit.
That's all I ask. When I talk to people, I'm like, look, you just like you have personal issues, like something might be going on with your mom, your sister, whatever. For me to say, oh, that's not true, even though I don't know them, it would be wrong of me. I have to listen to you for you to explain. Just like if I say, hey, I have this issue with race, religion, whatever my issue is, you have to listen to me. Mm-hmm. And then we can speak about it. Exactly. So I haven't experienced that per se, but what I have experienced in the military, a lot of minority leaders, like almost every leader that I've had is minority.
That's good.
Like a high percent. I would say like, not almost every. I would say maybe 70%. Brown, Hispanic, Black, Middle Eastern, Asian. And it's not a thing. It's not like, oh, that's my Asian commander, or that's my white commander, that's my Black commander. It's like, oh, that's my commander. That it is what it is.
That's good. Yeah,
it's very good. It's very good.
So just to go back to what I was going to ask earlier, so we went over, we talked a little about racism and how you signed up, how to sign up. So let's get into what are the benefits of the military and how what are the benefits of the military, and how you think they would affect someone that may be at-risk youth or a young adult who may be struggling in their life, what was going to be like your story, like just graduating, you got student loans, don't know what you're going to do. That can be a young adult that don't know what to do with their life. So you can put it, talk about thinking about a kid that's at-risk youth who may not have grown up with a father, may have grown up really poor, and then put it in like a young adult's perspective. But yeah.
All right, so the benefits, this will cover the benefits. Excuse me. The benefits on all branches are basically the same. They might vary a little bit, but almost all branches you're gonna get free college, right? If you already went to college, then they have student loan repayments. Okay. So that's what they got me on, because I was already a senior at that point. So I was like, well, I don't need free college. Yeah. But they have student loan repayment, so you get that. You also get
so free college, right? So this is the big thing. This is huge because a lot of people talk about how they can't afford to go to college.
Yeah.
Literally, like, you get a full ride to go to college if you join the military. So if you're looking for an opportunity, then why not take that opportunity, invest in yourself, and then you're gonna get it back. You're gonna get your free education, right? So
yeah, and you know what? Let me rephrase it. I'm not gonna say it's free, because you have to earn it, just like a scholarship. Scholarship, you have to earn it. It's not free. You have to play the sport, or you have to keep the grades. So just like this, if you're not showing up to drill, or if you're failing your military stuff, they're gonna take your education. But as long as you meet the standards, yes, you are getting free education.
How long to get the free ed? How long do you have to? I forgot to ask you this. I'll still let you elaborate on the benefits. But how long do you have to serve to reap the benefits?
To get the free tuition assistance. So say a kid's 17, 16, whatever. They're like, hey, I can't afford college, whatever. To go to a recruiter, sign up. They graduate high school. They can go to basic training right after high school, or I've heard of some people going in between junior and senior year. So like that summer break. Go to basic. After basic, you have to do your job training, which is, depending on your job, it's like 3 months to possibly 9, 10 months. All paid for, all your food's paid for, all that stuff's paid for. So you don't have to worry about that. So after you complete your basic and your job training, you're eligible for tuition assistance. Tuition assistance is where they'll pay you while you're in school. They pay for your books and pay your tuition. Or you're currently in school and you're serving. Long as you're not flagged, like you fail your PT test.
Like, how many years do you have to serve? Do you got to do like a 4-year term or something?
Oh, for your contract?
Yeah,
any contract. I think the minimum is 3 years. So
if
3 years.
If you serve the minimum, you can get free tuition after you, like, let's say.
Oh, no.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Like, if I'm a kid and I just graduated high school, I want to go in the military to get free college. How long do I have to be in the military in order to get free college?
So to get tuition assistance while you're in the Army or while you're in the service and you're in college, you have to stay in the service. Once you're out of the service, that free tuition, it's called tuition assistance, is gone. To get the GI bill,
the
GI bill, you need 6 years in or deployment.
Okay. So if you have
GI,
or deployment. Right.
Yeah, that's for the GI Bill. Okay. And that GI Bill is usually after, when people are done with the service.
So
if they didn't use the tuition assistance, because GI Bill is more. GI Bill is your college tuition, plus they'll pay you like your rent.
Yeah. And then isn't the home loan thing in there too? Like the no down payment?
Not in the GI Bill. That's a different thing.
Okay.
Yeah, you do get the VA home loan, but that's not a part of the GI Bill.
So we got, that's one of the benefits. And then what's after education?
After education, the VA home loan, which requires no down payment on your home. That's what I use. I use that in March.
Yeah, that's great. My cousin in the Bay Area, he actually did that too. So he got a house out there, and he was in the military. That's
no down payment. I think your credit score can be lower too than a traditional loan. Yeah. So it gives people a leg up, because saving that money for that first house is pretty expensive. I mean, it's like what, 3.7%?
Oh, I thought it was more.
3.5%. For your first home, you can get it for like 3.5, 3.9.
Oh,
But before it had to be 20%.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
But that's for everybody? Like if you're buying your first house, you can get it for 3.5, possibly.
Most people,
well,
yeah.
For military only.
No, that's for everybody.
Oh, yeah, duh.
Yeah, everybody.
I didn't know that. I know that.
Yeah, you just qualify. It's called the first time homeowner, something like that. But yeah, it's for everyone.
Okay, cool. So we got.
So that's the benefit. Healthcare. Healthcare is a benefit.
Mm-hmm.
You don't pay any healthcare. I mean, you do. It comes out your check, but it's like slight.
Yeah.
But you can go to any doctor on base, get anything taken care of. Like I had a surgery. I had a full surgery. I had a full like incision. I didn't pay anything. I had no bills.
Wow.
So people get braces. People get glasses. People get.
What about cosmetic surgery?
No. No. Only mission essential surgery. So like if you have a tooth that's all messed up and it's causing you pain, you can't complete your mission. Therefore, you would need that surgery.
They should possibly add that in there because you never know. Like you might get somebody that's like that maybe want to like transgender, they may want to like a sex change or something, but they went.
That's not mission essential. No, that's not mission essential. Only mission essential.
That's essential to them though. For some
essential to them.
To their well-being. But yeah, anyway.
And then since if we're talking about the youth, also what I would tell them, I would tell this with any kids, like yeah, you're gonna work for a company, you're gonna work for say the military or wherever, Nike, Apple, wherever you work, they're gonna use you. That's what they're there for. They're using you as a product. So your job is to use them as a product, right? So I'm good. Like I use the military for my VA loan, for my college, for my healthcare, for my food, whatever. Everything that they're offering, I'm using them for that.
Exactly.
So every job gives you some kind of benefits. Use the benefits that are given because once your leg goes out or whatever, you're done. They're just gonna replace you, just like any other job.
So what happens if you get hurt and you're like trying to get your school paid for and the benefits and all that stuff? What happens if you get hurt 2 years in?
If you get hurt,
like where you can't,
it's called profile. Yeah, it's called a profile. You send it up through your doctor, send it up to the state. State tracks it. They track as long as you make your appointments, like your doctor's appointments, and you're doing your recovery process, you're fine. Okay. But what people don't do, they'll be like, "Oh, I hurt my knee," and then they don't go back to the doctor again, and they miss appointments, and then that gives you a flag, and then the flag will take away your benefits.
So it's like you didn't do your part, so we're not doing.
Yeah, you didn't do. We're covering for you. We're letting it so you can recover, but you're not doing your part, so now we're taking away the benefits.
Yeah, you know what would be my favorite benefit is the do you guys get the fly free? How does that work? Or
you can, but it's only certain flights.
Standby, right?
Yeah, it's standby, but it's only really military flights. Oh, it's not like civilian. So you have to go to a base. Be like, oh, you guys flying to Dubai? And they're like, yeah. And then, let me jump on there. But it's not like a fun flight. You're in there with like gear.
Yeah, I know. I've seen them. They be in there with gear and they get let on first and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, it's a free flight.
Yeah.
But it's not first class or nothing.
Yeah.
So college, VA loan, healthcare, we went over. Even my boy, he joined. He was a banker, and he had a daughter who was mentally disabled. And he was like, hey, it's going to cost me this amount of money. I can't afford it at my current job. Joined the Army, and they cover everything for her.
Wow. Like
all her doctor visits, everything. Her little machine that she has to use
to breathe. So your free healthcare also covers your family, right?
Yes.
That's great.
I think he has to pay into it like for a family, but it's probably like $100 a month, something like that. But for what he's getting, then that's nothing.
Exactly. Or compared to what do you have to pay?
Compared to what we had to pay, that's nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So healthcare, food, you're gonna eat free. If you're in active duty, you're gonna have chow hall, which is cafeteria. You're gonna eat 3 meals. You get military discounts on base, and in most places you get military discount.
Like when you go like around the city and stuff.
Yeah, around the
I've
city.
seen like officers and soldiers like sometimes even get free stuff.
Sometimes, yeah. Sometimes I'll be at dinner and then people just come and be like, "Hey, let me comp your food." I'm like, "All right, man." So sometimes, but hey, I mean, it's a couple benefits. It's a bunch of benefits. I enjoy it compared to like what I would be doing. I definitely enjoy the military. It's a lot of growth. Basically paid for my house, paid for almost everything I have, and like paid for my Fresno State. And I got my master's with my tuition assistance. Paid for that. I think I only paid like $300 for my master's degree. And then my daughter is gonna get my GI Bill, so she's not gonna pay for college. Mm-hmm. So it's like generational wealth. Yeah, I had to take the L because I had to go to basic or whatever, but it's setting her up.
Exactly. So that's one thing to think about. Like one thing to think about in general, if you're a kid, young, 18 years old. And also, like, if you've just completed college, those benefits, it's not only going to affect you, it's going to affect your future family, you know,
yes.
or your family that you have at that moment, as far as like health benefits, as far as a GI Bill, even setting yourself up to actually make it easier to buy a home, to build equity in your family that'll continue on. And that's what it's about. You know, it's bigger. I think from this conversation, it sounds like the benefits outweigh like some stuff you may be scared about. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it also at the same time, you are risking your life, but it's a I would say sacrifice or an investment that you make to protect and grow your family, right?
Yeah, it is a sacrifice.
And for your country, you know,
it's a sacrifice. Yeah, you're doing it for your country. You're doing it for your family. Like, worst case scenario, say I die, right? Mm-hmm. My family, because the insurance that the military has on me and I have on myself through the military, my family will get like $500,000, whatever. Like, yes, that's not the same as me being here, but that's gonna take care of them, you know, in the event if something happens to me. And say if you're in a bad situation already, like you're at a higher risk to die. If you're just living on the streets, and you just die for nothing. You're at the wrong store, or you walk down the dark alley and somebody just gets you. Like, your death was, not saying your death was for nothing, but there was no point of you dying.
Yeah, probably should have asked this earlier, but what are the qualifications to get in the military? And can you be a felon? Like, if I'm a felon, could I be in the military or no?
I think it depends on the crime, but you have to ask a recruiter. I think it depends on the crime. I know some people that have been in. I'll be like, how'd you get in, man? You out there doing dirt. So it depends on the crime. You have to talk to a recruiter. You have to have a certain ASVAB score. I don't know the minimum. I think it's like 15 or something. I think it's out of 100, I believe, or it's out of 99. I think the minimum is 15. You have to be good medically. Like, your knees can't crack, no asthma, none of that crazy stuff.
I heard it was like, I don't know if it's true, but I heard like somebody told me you can't have flat feet and be in the military.
Yeah, they make you like do that whole bend over and cough thing, and then you bend over, you gotta stretch, make sure your feet are level, because it's gonna cause problems down the line when you're wearing gear, like you're wearing 50 pounds of weight and all that stuff.
I know I've got some fasciitis now. Bottom of my feet, I'm super flat-footed. So like all those years of being doing athletics and stuff, my feet was hurting the whole time. Like, one time when I was at Fresno State, my left foot actually went numb because so much I was like, all that grounding and pounding, it was just a lot.
Yeah.
Once I recovered in the summer, it went back to normal. But my leg was like pins and needles. It felt so weird for months.
That's one of the things. Vision, like if you're colorblind, they won't take you. They barely took me because my vision is terrible. Colorblind, they will not take you. They'll have you look at a number with a circle around it, and there'll be two different colors. The circle will be red, the number inside will be like purple, and you have to be able to see the numbers.
You gotta be able to see, like, when you're dealing with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's a major thing. Just basically, it's a lot of people. What a lot of people don't
Be
know.
healthy, basically.
Yeah. The military rejects more people than Harvard.
Wow. That's
Like,
interesting statistic.
yeah, military rejects probably like 90% of the applicants just off health, off their criminal history, or they couldn't pass the physical part. Like a lot of people, like think about the average person that you know. Like, okay, run 2 miles. The average person can't run 2 miles.
Yeah, I know I can.
So, yeah, so
I can't go right now.
it gets people. But if we're talking honestly to people, if you're not doing nothing, if you're just working at McDonald's or something, not saying you're not trying to do anything, but if you see your life is stagnant, like, and you don't have like a 5-year plan or something, you can do a 3-year contract, get your tuition assistance, get your free college while you're in there. Figure out what you want to do.
Right.
Yeah, figure out what you want to do. Save your money, because you're gonna go to basic, right? You're gonna go to basic. You'll probably earn, I don't know, E1. So you have nothing. You have no college degree or nothing. So you're gonna come in at the bottom level. You'll probably earn maybe $1,200-1,300 a month, and you're at basic, so you're not touching any of that. So when you come back, you should have like 4 racks, right?
Yep. So just save that up.
Yeah, you're getting free food, you're getting free housing, so your money really shouldn't be. You're gonna blow it, because that's what all soldiers do. We get new cars with high interest rates, but if you plan it out, you can live good.
Yeah. Last question I'm gonna ask you: how do you balance a military with like family life and stuff like that?
You have to have a good partner. My wife understands. But you have to have a good partner, or even if your mom and dad like that, make sure they support your decision and make sure they understand, like, hey, you might be gone for deployment. You might be gone for activation. Like, I was gone for the riots. I was gone for like 2 weeks. So they have to understand that. They have to, be able to talk to you. It might be late, because maybe I can only talk late, so they might have to be willing to talk to you late. Things like that. Luckily now I work at a state active duty, so I'm state guard now. I work for a school district, so it's like a 9 to 5 regular school hours, and it's like 20 minutes away. So I come home every day.
So what do you do when you're there?
I'm a youth advisor.
Okay, cool. Awesome.
I'm a youth advisor. So same situation like stuff we're talking about now. That's what we talk about. I really do economics, but if there are questions about the military, I'd be like, hey, these are the pros and cons. And I'm not a teacher, so I don't have a curriculum, so I don't have to be like as cookie cutter. I can be like, hey, this is really what life is going to be like when you turn 18.
Exactly.
Like, there's these things called student loans, and they're not going to tell you how much the interest is, but your interest is going to be like crazy. You're going to say yeah because you don't know anything because you're 18. So that's one of the benefits, man. I wouldn't change it. If I can go back and not join, I wouldn't change it. Like, I've had some bad things happen in the military, but like my life has improved from being in the military. It has benefited me, and I feel like it has benefited like my family.
That's good, man. So I mean, that's pretty much it. That's if you guys got all the tools, if you got any more questions, you can reach out to either one of us. Noah, how do you find the podcast?
It's on Spotify. Just type in "What About Ism."
Yeah.
I'll say Noah Passmore, be a little icon of my daughter. And then we'll just post different content. If you're interested, you can just I think you can write them. I think there's a message bar. If you want to talk about any type of topics, you just write it.
Yeah.
But I'm on there. I'm on Google, iTunes, like all the major podcast apps.
Cool. And then you can find Breaking Chainz Academy. We're on YouTube under Breaking Chainz Academy, Chainz with a Z instead of a S. And then also emails at breakingchainzacademy@gmail. And we have our website also, which is breakingchainzacademy.card.co. And I'll put it all in here. And I'll also put a link to the podcast once we upload it and stuff. And
yes, sir.
Appreciate you, Noah, coming on. And See you, man. Take care of the family, and congratulations on the new baby, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, good. Always good content, especially with a black man.
Exactly.
Preaching positivity.
Exactly. That's what we need. More of.
Yeah, that is what we need. It's definitely what we need.
All right, man. Take care.
All right, man. Peace.